Well, hello, Cam.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
Great.
Good, good. Did you do
Episode 7 already.
huh? Do it? What? We got 7?
Yeah.
Wow, good deal. We got an exciting guest on tonight. Can't wait to speak to him. Um, and I did want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, tomorrow night I will be on possibly the last game with Chubby Funster. I'm gonna switch
Uh-oh.
over to that.
Are you gonna get TPK'd?
I think it's in the works. He says, "Let the anarchy ensue." So this is going to be our sixth show, session 6. So that's going to be hopefully the uh, we're gonna go out in a blaze of glory. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that song in my head because I'm not going to get struck with copyright. And then there's another thing that we've got coming up, isn't there, Cam?
Yes, on various channels. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had all this queued up. So the Babylon 5 retrospective, we have a special event coming up on the 28th of this month at a special time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We are going to have Peter Jurasik, also known as Londo Mallory, ambassador extraordinaire from the show. And we are going to be multicasting it on, of course, Sci-Fi Snob, where the show is normally seen every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. But this is going to be a special event at 8 o'clock, and we are going to have a guest. So we're going to be multicasting it here on Sci-Fi for Me TV with Jason. I'm not sure if Madman's gonna cast it as well or not, but of course it'll always be on Sci-Fi Snob's channel because it's his show. So we look forward to having that discussion, man. I'm really hyped for that one. So
Yes. And Babylon 5 fans can put questions up in the Discord. You're correct. There is a special Discord channel
there
for.
is, I believe Cam created a special Discord channel. I should come
Well,
up
I
with the.
I didn't create it. I'm a ignoramus in Discord, but
Are you? I need to get on. I need to get on the Discord again and find out. All right. Well, with that, and I know Tom's got a couple of special announcements too. Let's go
all
ahead
right.
and bring him on board. I'm gonna unmute his audio so he can start talking, and we're gonna switch over, and hopefully this works well. Good
Welcome.
evening, Tom. How are you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Not bad. Are you a Babylon 5 fan?
Actually, no. I'm a Star Trek fan, so I never watched
You,
Babylon 5.
you can be both.
Yes, you
I
can.
know I can be,
Dude,
but I never really watched Babylon 5.
there's a lot of Star Trek people that show up in Babylon 5.
Sure,
Mhm.
Including
I
one of
heard
the.
good things. I just think it was that time frame where I wasn't really watching a lot of TV at that point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Oh.
missed out on it.
Yeah, me too. I missed the show during its first running. Of course, it ran, 94, 95, 96, that era.
Mhm.
And it lasted 5 seasons. I was like 21 years old. I just moved to Las Vegas. The last thing on my mind was watching television. I was out of the house every night. We would go out and go hang out and just play some Keno with my roommate and I would go play Keno and I'd go flirt with the cocktail waitresses and the Keno runners and 21, right? So what else?
Well, my kids were all born in 93, 96, and 98, so that would explain it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But at any rate, yeah, no, it's pretty exciting because he's probably
very cool.
one of the biggest cast members. So it's a huge get for us, and
Yeah.
we hope everybody tunes into that one. That especially if you were interested in the show.
Sure.
He also was in Tron.
Oh,
And
okay.
many
other things. So he's
Yeah.
not just a one-hit wonder. You'd be surprised to see his IMDb. So.
Sure.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I recognize him. I didn't watch the show, but it's very cool.
Yeah, the guy with the hair like this.
Yeah.
An equally long list of accomplishments is our guest tonight. So
Yes.
let's dig into it.
Without any more dancing around. Tell us about yourself, who you are, and oh man, what all do you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I like to believe that I'm a game creator, um, both system supplements and adventures. Uh, I run Throwy Games, which hopefully people have become familiar with. I've started in 2010, started writing small adventures and supplements and such. Um, been doing that for a while, 15 years now, and I've created a lot of small work. I always jokingly say that I'm the guy that handles the low end of the industry. So I do a lot of small stuff and low cost stuff. I have a full time job, so I'm not looking to be a full time writer. So I basically, I create stuff and charge very little for it, and hope that people just find it useful in their gaming. I also run a day and a half convention in Connecticut called ShireCon, which 2026 will be our 8th year.
Wow.
Um, we intentionally keep it small. It gets no bigger than 150 to 175 people. We've been at about 150 the last couple of years. We like the location we're in. We like that kind of family feel of it being small and intimate, and everyone knows everybody. Um, and that's, like I said, that's towards the end of September every year, and it's kind of exciting for us because we are slowly approaching our 10th year. So not there yet,
Ooh,
but we're getting close. So
big anniversary there on that one.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. That's exciting. I've actually been on the hunt for information, which is one of the things I think I reached out to you about. I had we had done a special show right before we launched this show. Um, we talked to Don Samora from
Mhm.
Wizard Tower Games at WizardCon,
Yep.
Griff Morgan from Arnicon, and a couple of other folks, Travis or not Travis, Roger from CNYCon.
Sure.
We had them
Sure.
on, and I had inquired about you, but you actually had some training going on for one of your other many hats that you wear. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm also a volunteer firefighter. So I spend a lot of time keeping my training up to date and running calls and such. So that keeps me busy too. So I try to do a
yeah,
little bit of everything if I can.
yeah,
That's obviously, and so we have a small community here in Falls Village. There's about 1,100 people or so. So it's important for everybody to kind of do their part. So we have a small fire department. Everybody really needs to participate. So, and you got to stay trained and up to date on your skills, and we do that. So yeah, you caught me at a time when I was in the middle of one of my classes, and but I'm now through all the longer classes. All the classes I have left are really kind of on the shorter side, which is nice because then I can not get so bogged down on and tied down on dates. So
yeah. No, I totally get it, and thank you for the service you do. I currently live in a well, I plan on staying here, but I live in a rural area, so all of our uh, all of our firefighters are volunteer.
sure,
So I totally get
yep,
it. I work with emergency management. I think I told you that in some
yep,
conversation we had.
yep.
So yeah, absolutely have utmost respect for you guys.
Yeah,
I could not.
yeah, we all do our part. So
Yeah. So ShireCon going on. You're pushing. This is going to be number 8. Is that right?
number 8. Yep,
Yeah.
number 8.
Okay. And now have you affixed a date yet on it or not?
Yeah, I did, and of course I'm on the spot here. So let me
I'm
get the official.
sorry. Didn't
So
mean to do that to you.
I should have it memorized, but I have a lot of dates in my mind. So September 25th and 26th this year.
Okay.
September
And
25 and 26.
you say it's a day and a half.
Yeah, so
So
we do a half day Friday, full day Saturday. That gets people in. They can want to drive in. They can spend the morning driving in before games start at noon or at
yeah.
1 o'clock. And then, if they're staying overnight a night or two, they can head out Sunday and not feel like they have to finish the con and rush to work the next day, sort of deal. So
Yeah.
we've had people ask if we would go to 3 days and such. And when you're in a rural area, There's not a lot of hotel space. So you have to kind of be smart about how you want your con to go. If I really wanted to go to a bigger con, I would have to move locations to probably somewhere farther into Connecticut somewhere. And
Right.
I just don't have that urge. I know a lot of people want to build their cons and get them really big. I don't. I like my little 150, 175 people con. It's great. So
Yeah. Yeah. And if I could get 100 people at mine, I'd be
you'd be
ecstatic.
surprised. You'd be surprised how
Yeah.
quick it adds up. My
Yeah.
first year was 55. So
Okay. That's not too
yep.
bad. That's not too bad. Yeah. I've been looking around. Of course, you were kind enough to send me a kind of a little document on some of the stuff that you've learned about running a small con over the past
Sure.
years. Was kind of fascinating. I was showing it to my wife this morning over breakfast. We went out and I said, "Yeah, hey, take a look at this thing that the guy sent me."
Just quick, I read through it as well, and it's I've not run any conventions, but it's very helpful because it's everybody, of course, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be great if, and it's like, and that's fine. I wouldn't want to discourage anyone, but as your document outlined very well, there's a lot to it.
There is.
And it'll help them do things right. If someone does want to jump into it. So props to you.
I mean, I was very fortunate to be able to talk with some really big con organizers and good, pillars of the industry. Alex Kammer from Gamehole Con and Doug from North Texas, and they really were able to kind of spend some time and give me some of the do's and don'ts for first or second year con. And I figured, if they're going to spend the time and help me out, why can't I just write something up and then give that to people, let them figure out their first year con?
Yeah.
Take from it what you want, leave the rest out. If you outgrow that size con, then and you have a different kind of approach, that's great. Last year at Total Con, I sat on a panel with Steve from Total Con, Don from Wizard Con, and a couple other guys. And we sat there and we talked about our cons. And there were pros and cons and do's and don'ts for different size cons. And I actually handed out at least a dozen of those documents that I gave to you.
Yeah.
Because, why not just take away and use it? Like, if you can take one thing out of it that helps you, then great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you can see back over here. That's my giant calendar of doom.
Yeah.
Maybe I went a little overboard because I had to build the whole infrastructure behind it because it's just a laminated 12-month dry erase calendar. But
that's cool.
I figured I would be able to mark out the ones that I don't want to compete against, and because there may be some common people that might try to visit some of the smaller cons, people that are in the OSR community or OSR adjacent stuff, which is kind of where I'm trying to focus.
Right.
I don't think I'd be opposed to somebody running 5e, but I'd certainly like to encourage them to run one of the many other great systems that are out there that don't get that exposure. And Shadow Dark, even Shadow Dark's pretty awesome. So I think we kind of consider it an OSR adjacent thing.
I would agree.
It's not true OSR, but neither is some people say Castles and Crusades is a proto OSR because of when it came out.
Right.
I think Tenkar is the one that likes to use the word proto OSR.
Yeah, and I think if you want to start splitting hairs, then you could argue, is Labyrinth Lord really, OSR, or is it a clone, or is it? I mean, you can start splitting hairs all over the place. And the way I look at it is, it's got to be the feel of the game. Yeah. The feel of the game tells me if it's OSR or not. If you get bogged down in lots of rules, it starts to really drift away from OSR. And the great thing about Shadow Dark is it has few rules. It takes the great stuff from new systems and old systems and makes it quick and easy and fun. Is it on the fringe of OSR? Probably, but you know what? I think it's a great system. I think Kelsey's done a phenomenal job of making a game that people can easily play.
And I have to give major props to her too, because I was one of the folks that got my package because I jumped in on the Kickstarter. Of course, the OGL thing happened, and I was like, "That's it.
Sure.
last straw. I'm done with WotC for forever. Canceled my master tier sub that I had for D&D Beyond since forever.
Sure.
And I said, that's it. I'm not going back. And so I started hunting other things, and Shadow Dark, I jumped in on that Kickstarter. Jumped in on the Castles and Crusades Kickstarter, their Reforged series.
Mm-hmm.
But my delivery looked like it got run into by a forklift, and fortunately, the only book, because I went all in. I got the
Yep.
I got both
The big package.
regular
Yeah.
and the special edition bound one.
Sure.
And I told her, I said, yeah, that it's one of my books is all kind of looked like the book had been run into by a forklift with the whole box, but and she's like, oh no, we got to fix that. Snap a couple of pictures, send them off to me, and which one is it? And I said, hey, it's just the regular book. It's not the special edition. You don't have to, And she's like, oh yeah, no,
Right.
not a problem. And I mean, I had it within a week,
That's
so.
great.
I can't say that I don't have anything bad to say about what she's done with her stuff.
No,
She's a great
she's
person.
she's done a great job. She's built a good system that I think it's easy to learn. It appeals to new and old players. I think she just hit it at the right time. It's all like all the right switches were thrown. So
Right.
and she's a wonderful person on top of
Yeah.
it. So
You've got to meet her.
yeah,
Have you got to
a
meet
few
her? Yeah.
times. Yeah, I wrote an adventure right when Shadow Deck first came out. I wrote an adventure and I gave her a copy of it, and she was amazed that someone had already written something for it because it was like literally, before even the Kickstarters landed.
Yeah.
Because I loved the game that much when I read it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely write something for this, and gave it to her. And I haven't had a chance to really sit down and chat with her. I mean, I'm not in that bigger circle, with
Right. Yeah.
these industry giants. But I'm hopefully going to see her at Page. Hopefully, get her to sign my special edition book when I'm there.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, her time frame for signing signing at her booth is like right in the middle of one of the games I'm running, so that I can't step away.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, maybe I'll find her somewhere else. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's every time I've seen her, she's nothing but smiles. And she just seems like a great person, and she's built a good system. So kudos, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that everybody that I know that I've talked to, including some of the hardest grizzled old grognards are
Mm-hmm.
all yeah, no, she's there, and I understand she even played with Gary and stuff like that
Yeah.
before, and so it's not
She,
like
yeah.
she's not been involved. She was doing a lot of stuff over the
She has
years
a street
before.
cred for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But and you're not the only one. I guess you've got a bunch of titles too that you've written for Shadow Dark as well.
Yep, I've done a handful. I've got a handful more, and then I'm probably going to step away from Shadow Dark for a bit because I've done more than I normally would like to do. I like to, if you look at some of my work, I've written for a lot of systems because I like just uh, writing for different systems and having fun with it. I did a run there for a bit with Shadow Dark where I did a lot of Robert E. Howard stories. So I did Tower of the Elephant. I did some brochure adventures of some of his classic stories. I did Slumbering City, which is based on the Slithering Shadow. I have a couple more planned for Robert E. Howard adjacent stories, but I'm holding on those for now. But I am doing for Page, I'm doing a crossover of Shadow Dark and Silent Hill.
Oh, okay.
Called Silent Shadow. So it's horror based, and that's gonna be real fun. And then I have an adventure I wrote for 2024 ShireCon that's Shadow Dark that I'm going to publish. That'll actually be my next Kickstarter, but it's a small one. I expect it to do just a handful of dollars, which is fine. But I have all the art for it and the cover for it, so I just want to get it in the maps for it. So I just want to get it out to people so they could play it.
Is that one of them that you sent me the image for?
Nope.
Or is that nope? Okay.
The one I sent you the image for is another one I'm testing at Page.
Okay.
Called Singed, which is going to be using the Dragon Slayer system.
Dragon
which
Slayer.
is Dragon
Yep.
Slayer, which is Greg Gillespie's system.
Oh yeah, Greg's great.
Yep. So I have I've kind of been doing a lot of retro stuff. If people see that picture, they should kind of get an idea of what we're talking about, especially if you grew up in the 80s.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
if you played any
kind of looks
video
like
games in the 80s.
Dirk.
Yeah, it sure does. So
Yeah,
this is that adventure is going to be an homage to that whole video game.
yeah,
So that art right there is done by Travis Hansen out of California. He does a lot of art for me. He
okay,
does all our ShireCon logos as well. So
yeah,
he's did the cover for that a while ago, and I've been sitting on this one for a bit. But I'm running a playtest here at Page, and I'm also going to be running it at Anthony Merida's OSR Con in May.
okay,
So you'll probably see that as this one here is a Kickstarter in mid-year sometime. I've got
okay,
two before that, and then that'll probably be the third one in 2026. But yeah, that one's the art for this one is it's going to be a completely color book. It's going to be bonkers. It's going to be really nice looking book.
yeah,
Yeah, looks fun.
But it's Dragon Slayer, and when I talked to Greg last year in North Texas, I said, look, I want to do something for your system. And so I talked to him about this, and he was all about it. He said, yeah, we'll do that. I was like, fine. So we're doing that. So like I said, I like to rate games for all different systems. So 2026, we're gonna move around a little bit. We did a lot of Shadow Dark in 2025. We're gonna go back and do some classic stuff. I got another Gamma World adventure I'd like to do. Kind of a Towering Inferno approach to that adventure. I wrote an adventure for Frog God Games, which they kind of fell apart a little bit. So that game will now go to Parallel Dimension Games,
okay,
most likely, which is kind of the aftermath of that shift there.
yeah,
So but that's a 5e adventure. So again, I write for a lot of different systems because I just feel like playing with mechanics.
yeah. I've got a chat here from Matthew
That's Sherman.
Sherman.
Yep.
Yeah, he said he went to ShireCon the first time last year. It was great. It will be an annual pilgrimage, so that says something about the
Especially
cons
from
there.
especially from him because he's coming from quite a distance. I believe he's coming from Florida.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'm about halfway. I'm in East Tennessee.
You have no excuse.
I have no excuse.
You can
Okay.
make it. You can make it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, maybe
Yeah,
it's on my agenda to start hitting up some of these cons because like I told you before, I'm looking at starting one here.
sure.
And speaking of that, one of my buddies, the one that I played in that second edition AD&D Dark Sun game yesterday
Mhm.
with, he's asking he wants to know if he can get a look at the document. So
Sure. Now, Don Samora is supposed to publish that document in his upcoming magazine.
okay,
So I'll check with him and see where that is because obviously I'd love to see that document kind of just be an article in his magazine.
yeah,
But if it's not going to be anytime soon, then I have no problem sharing that document. So if someone wants to reach out to me, you know, later this week or whatever, I'll just send it to them.
and I'm
It's
gonna
not a
drop a
secret. It's not a secret. There's nothing in there that's secret sauce. It's just a lot of trial and error and breaking things down in manageable pieces and figuring out how to make it all work. And so I think people when they read it, they go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah, makes logical
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, because the one thing that I was thinking about with it is like, well, you know, okay, should I do 2 days? Should I do 3 days? And when I talk to different
Mhm.
people, some people are like, well, you should do 3 days because, and in a, of course, I may be in a rural area where I'm at, but we're still kind of a destination area. We got this
Mhm.
little thing called, Great Smoky Mountain National Park right down the street from us,
Sure. It's great.
and Cherokee National Forest. So, uh, the question is, okay, so if people are going to come to Tennessee, they're probably going to do more than just hit the con up,
Sure.
or certainly if they bring the wife or the wife and kids, etc., and the
Sure.
dogs. Tankar,
Yep. Yep.
Tankar loves his puppy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's the thing is that when you want to have a con, the first thing you think about is where is it going to be? How long should it be? Can I find a venue? Is there hotel spaces more than a day? So you just once you go through sort of the process of figuring out, what you want it to be, right? Do you want it to be a multimedia con? Do you want it to be just playing games? You allow board games, card games. You're gonna do an auction. You're not gonna do an auction. Panels means more space. So you start breaking it down. You realize this is what I can actually do the first year, and there's nothing wrong with evolving it and growing it year after year if that's what you want, as long as you have the
Right.
space to do it. And the hotel room, hotel rooms or places for people to stay overnight if you're going to be more than a day or two. So once you get all that straightened out, then it's just executing on a plan and just putting all the pieces in place, and then you just, if you want to, like I do, because I don't want to grow it, I don't want to change it much more than what it already is. There's a lot of rinse and repeat and just embellishing and prettying it up every year, making it nicer.
Right.
So
Right. And you have a Facebook group that's
yep.
dedicated to ShireCon as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a member of that, as well as North
Sure.
Texas. In fact, I saw and liked you promoted the episode. So
Yeah.
hopefully we've got a few people watching. Like and subscribe, guys.
Yeah,
We
right.
try to have all these interesting folks on, like Thom, and we had Travis Faber. I don't know if you met him or not yet.
I
He
know the
did
name. I don't think
he
I've
did
met him.
Full
I know
Metal
that.
Tilt, which is the jousting,
Right.
the OSR jousting system. He's
It's very
actually been
cool.
on with us twice. So
Nice.
he was doing his Kickstarter at the time. So we
Mm.
brought him on. I think he was our first guest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So and then he came back on again. We had a discussion last week, and we also had Lord Mateus and Gary Lewis from um, the Second Watch program. I don't know if you watched that one or not. They
Mm.
joined us on there, and we were talking about sci-fi. So when I saw some of the titles that you had, you actually have a sci-fi RPG system. I saw in there. I think I threw it on the thumbnail.
Oh, this. I saw it. I think I saw it. It was
Scoundrels.
Space Scoundrels.
Yeah.
That was done on a dare, kind of on a whim. It uses a advancing dice system, which you know I had a lot of feedback from people that didn't like kind of some of the mechanics, but it's
Yeah.
like kind of beer and pretzels game, not to be taken seriously.
Right.
And a lot of people were taking it kind of serious. And I said, guys, this is kind of a fun thing I threw together. It's
Right.
not it's not something you're going to play for 6 months. You're going to do it 1 or 2 nights just to have fun. It's meant to be comical. It's meant to be sort of outrageous and um, quirky. And the people that got that like it,
Yeah.
and the people that wanted a serious sci-fi game. I didn't make Star Wars, West End Games Star Wars. I didn't make Traveler. I didn't make Star
Right. Yeah.
Frontiers. I just
Yeah.
made a game that's sort of quick and easy, and with an advancing dice system. So if you're not skilled in something, it's a D4 roll. A little bit more, it's a D6, then a D8, then a 2D4, and kind of advance all the way up. And
Yeah.
like I said, people love it, people hate it. It's all good. That's most of my work anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I could
I have
could
thick
see.
skin.
Yeah. 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 Um, I'm thinking, maybe a Red Dwarf session, or
Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide
Right.
to
I
the
mean, it's good
Galaxy
for that
type
kind of
thing.
stuff. It's good for sort of a comical enjoyment. It's kind of the kobolds ate my baby kind of approach to gaming.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
real simple, easy to learn, quick, um, and not to be taken seriously. You're not worried about how many credits it takes to fill up your spaceship. Nobody cares. Just go fly around, shoot stuff up. Like go land and do stuff. So
Yeah. Erudite DM, who is one of my soon to be deceased uh, comrades in the Chubby's game. He said he heard ShireCon is great fun. So
yeah,
um,
it's a fun little con. Sure
yeah,
is.
yeah.
So.
And you've got. Did you want to show off the other thing yet,
Yeah.
or okay?
So we just the guy who's the cover artist on the picture you have on the screen now with for Singed is also the gentleman who does my ShireCon logo every year. And each year we talk about we're usually talking about the next year's logo well in advance. And we talked about this one a while ago, and he was very busy. He's Travis Hansen is extremely popular artist out on the West Coast. And he does a lot of work. He goes to a lot of cons. I mean, he's a full-time artist doing this for a living, and he's been doing it for years and years and years. So he's quick and he's cost-effective and he's busy. So I always tell him, look, I don't need the ShireCon logo until the first of the year, January, because that's when I start the ball rolling for the next year. So he was able to bang it out last week, and what I have is a screenshot of the logo. You can see that it's crooked. Basically, it's a screenshot of his tablet that he did the work on.
Yeah.
But that's our logo. So every year it's got, it's always got a Middle Earth theme. I have an 11-year-old granddaughter that loved this one right here, which is Eowyn.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So she said, you need to do another female character. I said, all right, we're doing Galadriel, and that's what we've got.
There you go. There you go.
It's a good logo. My only concern is I'm not sure what color shirt to put on it yet because it's so light. So I've got to figure that out. I got to do some test shirts. I do a bunch of colors that I keep for myself or give away in the auction or whatever for one-off colors. And then obviously I pick the one that I'm going to use for that year once I get the samples, but I haven't figured out what I'm going to print that on yet. I really like it. I think it's fantastic. I don't know what color shirt to use. And I loathe to use black because black is the traditional con color shirt. And I try to stay away from it if I can, especially with the background, having those like trees and stars and such. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a light color, but not too light. So I've got to figure that out. So
yeah.
I thought about I've had all different colors. I've had this red here. I've had brown. I've had gray. I've had black. I've had orange one year. So I've had dark blue. So I've had all different colors. It's the thing about having your 8 years of cons. You've got all different color shirts you've tried. So I got to figure out what to do next. So that's the new logo. That people will start seeing that in the next month or so. I'm going to finish the tabletop event site this week before Page. That'll probably be on there. So this is just the first time it's been seen by anybody but me and my daughter and the artists themselves. So,
well,
but it'll start to come out here in the next week or so. And Travis did another good job. It's a great job. So
somebody said Chris Moneymaker. He said ash gray, maybe a tan or a crimson. Yeah.
The ash gray was on the list. I think I could kind of a lighter gray. I think would probably be good. That's on my list. Probably won't do crimson because I've already done crimson, and I don't want it to be like crimson's always the female characters. So I want to make sure I'll probably stay away from that. But I usually test 3 or 4 colors, and then I pick one and we go with it.
Yeah, I think my my Blackmore shirt, I got like a heather red type shirt, so it was kind of a lighter red.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting.
I also will only test shirts with the company that I use that I know that they're going to have at the end of the year, and they're going to have all the sizes I need because sometimes there's not the right, you don't get the gamer small or gamer mediums. So you have to make sure
I am neither a gamer small nor a gamer medium. Maybe I'm down to maybe a 3X now. I've been losing weight.
So usually I have to make sure at least we have 3Xs available. I did last year print 1 or 2 4Xs, but I had to use a different brand shirt just to get those to print.
Good size.
But so next year this year I'll try to make sure I get the right colors and that I know will be available. But so brand new logo. Excited for this year's convention.
Yeah, that's great. And of course, you also have a new book that's out, and I've got a copy of it right back here.
Crumbling Keep.
Oh yeah. So this is a Shadow Dark adventure written for, and you said you were working on. You had done a bunch of Shadow Dark adventures. You've got a few more planned at some point, and then you're gonna try and work on some other systems as well. Tell us about all the different systems, because obviously you said you mentioned Dragon Slayer. So
Yeah, so Dragon Slayer, I wanted to do a Dragon Slayer adventure because I know Greg well and I like his work. And I wanted to do something that was that would support his system. Um, and I wanted something that had a dragon because it's Dragon Slayer. So I wanted a dragon in it, right? Just sort of, why not do that?
Yeah.
And then I thought about that old '80s video game, and I said, that would be fun to do. So we've done that.
Yeah.
That's all written. I'm going to be playtesting it this weekend or next weekend. That's pretty much 100% written. Almost all the art's done. Maps are being done by Chet Mitten, an artist also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and people don't realize that Chet Mitten does some really great color maps. He's not just an artist, but he does good cartography as well. So he's
Okay.
doing the maps for that, and they're really outstanding. It's a full color book, so it's going to be gorgeous. And then, like I said, I have a couple more Shadow Dark things. I've got a BX adventure planned. I also, for North Texas, I have a Gamma World adventure planned for end of the year. That might turn into two different things. A couple years ago, I wrote a Choose Your Own Adventure game based on my Chaos system, which is a very, very rudimentary 2-page rule system that I wanted to use for basically a coin flip system for my grandkids.
Yeah.
And then turned into I actually published it. You can go to DriveThru. It's free. I believe it's free on DriveThru. But the Choose Your Own Adventure book uses that system. And I wanted to do a second one, but I wanted it to be Gamma World. So there's a good chance that I'm going to write a full adventure for Gamma World, and then the same adventure as a Choose Your Own Adventure as well. So that might be a 2-for-1 offering there. And
Which
then I
which
have
one?
my. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what was the which one was the choose your own?
It's called Trouble at Mill Manor.
Okay, I
It's
think
got a
I've heard
cover.
that.
It's got a cover by Jeff D.
There you go. I think I got it up here.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a pretty big book. It's pretty chunky. It's got 400 encounter areas. It's not like your traditional choose your own adventure where you go yes or no, left or right. Some rooms have like 11 or 12 choices. It's like it's the flow chart for that, like was papers like taped over the wall like a madman kind of thing. I think I have a copy right here. Yeah, there it is.
yeah, and no, I don't see the option for to get it in PDF. In print, it's $19.99, so it's $20.
Yep. I don't offer everything that I make in PDF because I like print. I want to support print. So a lot of times I will not offer a PDF version. Um, I mean, as you can tell,
Oh wow, that is not.
it's a
Yeah,
pretty chunky book.
yeah,
There's a total of I think 400 and I want to say there's 400. No, there's over 500 encounter areas actually, with so many alternate endings and lots of death sequences because that's the fun part of Choose Your Own Adventures.
sure.
But I'm trying to find one where there's multiple choices. Probably not going to find one. Okay, here's one. You probably can't see it,
Let me
but
see if I
you can
can.
see right here all the choices you can make in that room.
Let me bring you up there. There you go. Oh wow, yeah,
So it's not
it's
like go left or go right. There's all different things that you can do with the encounter area. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun. I don't think I've had more fun writing a book than this.
yeah,
So the goal was to write 3 of these, but at some point. So the next one would be a Gamma World one. And like I said, I've got this idea for an adventure that I've been wanting to do, sort of a towering inferno, post-apocalyptic thing, where you basically have to, you have to go from the bottom of the tower up to the top to get something. And I thought it would be fun to make that as a choose your own adventure as well. So you have the same adventure twice, just one different styles.
yeah.
So that's something I think I'm going to do at the end of the year. Um, I also have my a game system I've been writing for 7 years
Yeah.
that has been ready, and I've been pushing it off because I've been doing all this little work. But I need to get that published. So that's called Desolantia, which is it's It's almost done. It's like 99.9% done. I just need to pull it together and figure out how to release that. So that'll be my focus to this going into 2027. I'm probably gonna pull a Jeff Talany and only write for my home system, my house system basically,
Sure.
and then kind of leave all the other stuff behind besides the occasional BX or Gamma World, because those are my two favorite
Those are your
systems.
go-to. Yeah, you've got a lot of Gamma World stuff.
Yeah,
Chris has got another question on the cons.
sure.
He said, how do you handle minors at your con?
So one of the things we do is we make sure that the games are it's very clear what the age group the games are for. So what we do is we ask GMs to make sure that when they submit their games, they pick the appropriate age group that they want at the table,
Mm-hmm.
and we adhere to that. So if it's adults only, what we'll do is we'll try to put those on the outer edges of the game room or a different game room. We have a smaller kind of a side game room that we'll put people in sometimes. Um, in the last several years, we haven't seen a lot of adults only games. We have seen those in the later slots, which is nice. Kids tend to get home by then.
Yeah.
Um, but most people have been pretty good about making them like 13 and up or whatever. And we also have 3 people that come in to ShireCon and have run kids games.
Okay.
Noah Green is one. He runs a kids game every year that's really for 9 to 12 kind of age range, and it's great. And he gets like 10 players at his table. So and he runs it's a modified 5e with some old school grit in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we do is we try to make sure that the games are clear about the age group, and we try to keep those games slotted correctly if there's going to be some rambunctious behavior. So we'll kind of do those. We'll urge those GMs to put those in the night slots.
Yeah.
Good. Or if it's going to be really crazy, one year we had somebody who had some really wild games they want to run, and we had actually a separate section that they were all by themselves, kind of pushed away behind a curtain, and they just let themselves do that. So we kind of mix it up, but really adhering to the age group. And what we'll do is we'll ask GMs, are you sure you only want adults, or is it just because you just don't want kids at your table?
Right. Yeah.
So we try to figure that out. But
Are you trying to keep the kids out just because you don't like kids, or are you trying to?
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or is it really because it's inappropriate behavior, perhaps for a preteen or a teen? So we're just
Right.
we kind of watch that,
Yeah.
and we tell parents when they come in. We don't like it when they drop the kids off and disappear, but that does happen.
Yeah.
We're not babysitters, but if they're like 13, they should be able to handle themselves for a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah. We
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 have
ran into that with scouts.
yep, yep,
Yep. I was a
yep.
scout leader, and
We have some chairs off to the side where we let parents kind of sit and read or stay on their phone or do whatever while they're kind of
yeah.
keeping one eye on their children. We've never had any problems with kids at the con. They just want to play games. And
Yeah.
it's the only place where kids and adults both just want to play games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everyone's happy.
Yeah. Ultra TTRPG, or I don't know if you familiar with him or not, but he's got his
I
own channel
believe.
as well.
Yep.
He said, always include a PDF with a physical book purchase. It's so weird when companies don't do that, and
Yep.
it's
Understood.
true. A lot of people don't. I think, um, or they charge extra.
Mm-hmm.
That does happen. But Chthonic
Of a
Musing says,
PDF, a few that actually doesn't.
yeah,
So
and I'm a physical media guy too. I like mine.
yep.
Chthonic
I
Musing says that kids are great at ShireCon, so that's kind of cool.
oh yeah, there's that table is probably the when Noah Green runs his game, it's probably the best table because the kids are just you know for them everything is new. Everything is never been done before, never been seen before. Their ideas are fresh and new. Or just completely out of left field that we as an adult we might not think of. It's
Right.
fun to watch that game, and the kids are just having a blast. So, and Noah runs a good game, and he's a trooper to run. It's like herding all the cats. He's in there doing that for 4 hours with a bunch of little kids. It's great. So
Yeah. Well, and it's true that they're not bound by the same constraints of whatever in the creative process that
Right.
those of us that are old old people are.
Yeah,
So
we're kind of jaded. We've seen it, done it before. But when they come up with a new idea that maybe we've seen 20 times in
right.
published adventures, for them it's new and it's the greatest thing that's ever been thought of. And it's just watching their joy and their excitement about pulling it off is so good. It's great.
Yeah, Flint Fireforge. I know he works with kids a lot for boys and girls clubs and
Mhm.
doing games for that. And one of the things that he was talking about is the whole "don't split the party" thing. And the kids, of course,
Mhm.
that's the first thing they decide they're going to do is split the party. And it's like
Yeah.
a lot of us are like, oh, I don't know. Although,
Yeah, sometimes they just need well, you gotta let them learn too. You gotta let them
yeah,
learn that it's a bad idea. So,
yeah. I got a question from a Erudite about Joe the lawyer.
oh, Joe, he's great.
He wants to know if he sings karaoke in the bar after hours.
We don't have a karaoke machine in the bar in the venue we're at, but maybe now I think I need
Now
to
you're gonna
add one
get one.
and see what happens. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's gonna happen this year for sure.
Oh, that sounds fun. I may have to go up there, take a track.
Joe Lair is a great guy. He's if you know him, he's opinionated. He has his positions on things, but he's a great storyteller. He's a great GM.
Yeah,
He loves this hobby. He
he
loves it.
does.
You know,
He does.
and it's great to see him at ShireCon and other cons as well.
Oh, I've got a let's see here. This is a super chat, so this is going to be obviously on Sci-Fi for Me channel. Let's get to the past. Violations, actual problems. Ooh, okay. Um, what kind of issues have you run across with either players or people running games?
Mm.
Anything that's come to mind, or is keeping it small maybe keeping people in check?
Yeah, so I was going to go there. I was going to say that having a small con where almost everybody knows everybody um, tends to keep the problems down. We have had some attendees who refuse to come to the con because certain attendees are there and they don't have the same political beliefs, etc. And what
Yeah,
I tell people is that's a you problem, not a me problem. I
yeah,
mean, unless someone is flagrantly, um, you know, demonstrating, really rude, misogynistic, racial behaviors. People are allowed to have whatever ideologies and beliefs they want, and as long as you keep it outside the door and we just play games, I don't really
yeah,
care. But if you don't want to go to the con because someone else is there that you don't like, I'm sorry, but I can't control that, and that's on you, not me. I'm not going to ban somebody because somebody doesn't like what they say or believe. Um, there has to be actions for me to take take some action myself, and there hasn't been. In a small
yeah,
con, there hasn't been. I've been
yeah.
at bigger cons where there's been problems.
Right.
That's a different story. But in my con, I tend to feel like everybody knows each other. Everyone's been playing with each other. We've got like um, a lot of people who've been to either all of them or most of them. So everyone knows everybody. Um, I did have a problem this year with one individual. I had a I was actually at a structure fire,
Hmm.
and I was supposed to open up tickets for games at a certain time, and I was on my way back from that structure fire to the firehouse, and by the time I got back, I was able to scramble back home and push that button. It was like 15 minutes late, and then everybody there, or a few people, had a problem with the late start because they couldn't get the games they wanted, and they
Uh,
wanted me to basically restart so everyone had a fair shake at it. And what I said is, well, everybody did have a fair shake because everybody had the same start, the revised start time. And that person decided not to come to the con because they felt that it wasn't fair that I started it late. Again, I mean, I had a plan, but when someone's house is on fire, I'm not going to put ShireCon before that. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
it's life and property over that. So
yeah, absolutely. And Erudite, he's commenting on that. He says he's no expert, but based on North Texas, he believes that smaller, well-managed cons with an OSR focus are best for him, at least.
yeah,
Um,
and
and
North
that's
Texas is a
kind of
perfect example. 500 people, really focused on old school games. Do they have some 5e there? Of course they do. They have a couple board games on Sunday morning at the end of the con. No card games. Lots of good vendors
yeah,
with a lot of good product in the old school, product base. They've been doing it right for 15 years. And actually, Doug Ray from North Texas before he passed, um, he sat down with me for breakfast one day and we talked about, before I even had ShireCon, we talked about it and he gave me a lot of those pointers that are in that document. So
yeah,
they
yeah.
know what they're doing in North Texas. So
Yeah, the other guy I was gonna have on, and I think the reason I reached out to you and one other about was because family came first, and
mhm.
he had to move up a date. He said was going to be on that panel stream that we had, and that was Mike, aka Bad Mike,
Mhm.
from North
Yep.
Texas,
Yep.
and
That Mike's great. I've worked with him
yeah,
a lot. He's fantastic. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
He's great. I'm still gonna get him on, Mike, if
yeah, he
you're
should.
out there
He's
listening.
good.
You're gonna get on here. I need you, and maybe I guess now he's part of a team. Do you have other people um,
Oh yeah.
that are helping you out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody
So
you want
I
to shout
have
out?
all three of my children participate in the con.
Okay.
So my oldest daughter, Emily, takes a large role in making sure everything executes on the days of the con. She kind of takes over the con so that I can go shake hands, drink some beers at the bar with buddies, run a game maybe. I run a very fun game that I've created called Tavern Brawl, which is a 1v all v1 game that's loosely
PvP,
based
huh?
on VX. Yeah, it's a 3D tavern. I get 20 players. It's mayhem. People are just murdering each other left and right. It's absolute mayhem.
Yeah.
But it's a good time. So she knows that what my schedule is. She knows that I need to shake hands and talk to people and network and
Yeah.
so she makes sure that the con runs smoothly. Then my two other children, I have a daughter Abigail and a son Benjamin. They are there all the time, the entire time, taking on whatever tasks need to be done. Um, Trash needs to be hauled out, new tablecloth has to be put down, someone has to have their table moved for whatever reason, they're on it. And then I have a small group of volunteers that have been with me since day one, um, that just want to be part of the con. So I have a handful of people um, that are always there that help out. And then, of course, my wife is considerable help. She never wants to have any of the focus on her or take any credit, but she helps a tremendous amount with breakdown setup, um, running things down, etc. So it's for me, it's because it's a small con. It's family based now, and the family really helps participate. But any con you have, you need volunteers. Otherwise, you're going to lose your mind. So all the work's done beforehand, and then just letting the volunteers run it basically the days that it goes should run itself after a few years anyway. So
Okay. Cam, I know you've got a couple of questions that you're itching to get at. Go ahead and why don't you take the con for a minute and to be punny. Um,
Okay. Well, I am kind of a nerd for origin stories. So I was wondering, we were talking a little bit ahead of the show, but I was wondering if you could kind of just tell us a story of how you got started with role playing in the first place.
oh, okay. Uh, well, I had just moved middle schools from one town to the next. Where I live, all the towns are really small and really close together. So I moved from one town to the other. And I remember the first day of the new school, I was kind of observing during the study hall these kids playing a game that I didn't have any idea what it was. So I kind of was watching, and it sounded really fun. I was into fantasy, so I was reading Tolkien and others. So I had the kind of like to draw, and I like to write little short stories and stuff. So I was kind of intrigued. And afterwards, the guy running the game said to me, "We're playing a game called Dungeons and Dragons. Would you like to play?" I said, "That sounded really cool. I would love to." He goes, "Well, come to my house after school today, and we'll roll up a character, and I'll run something short for you and see if you like it." I said, "Okay, great." So I walked all the way across town, as you know, or I biked. I can't remember, but I got all across town to where he was, and we rolled up a character. And again, it was BX, so it was first level, 3d6 down the line, no fudging rolls, no extra dice to take out, straight down the order. And I rolled a real high intelligence, so I made a magic user. Rolled my hit points. 1. He put me in front of the gates. He put me in front of the gates to Keep on the Borderlands, which is my absolute favorite adventure. He put me in front of the gates, and it was nighttime. He said, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I want to get in, so I'm gonna demand that they let me in. I'm a magic user. Let me in." And the guy up on the wall said, "No, you have to wait till morning." I said, "You're gonna let me in, or else?" He's like, "Or else what?" So, "Or else I'm gonna do something bad." So he shoots me in the chest with a crossbow, and I die. So my first character died right there in the spot 5 minutes into the game. And then, so he looks at me like, "Okay, you're either going to want to keep going and roll up a new character, or you're done." And I was like, "Let's roll up a new character." So I rolled up. The second one was a thief, and then I snuck in, and the rest is history. He went on to, I moved him from, over the course of many years, I moved him over from BX to first edition, changed him into an assassin, et cetera, et cetera. But that kid, his father was in the military, I want to say, and he got transferred, and he gave me his BX box set, the basic box set, with the dice, which I still have. I know I still have the rule book. I just don't know which one it is from all the rule books I have, but I know I still have the rule book. I know I have the Keep on the Borderlands book. Again, I don't know which one it is. I don't have the box anymore. I know that the box is gone, but I have other nice minty boxes that have replaced it. But I wish I could remember his name. I could see him again someday, because he introduced me to a game that has basically transformed my life over the last 50 years. So for me, it was a really cool moment. Nice little 1 hit point magic user. I don't remember what his name was. He died 5 minutes after creation, and we made another one.
Yeah, that's great. Cam, you're back. We lost you for half a second.
Yeah, it must be on my side. It was cutting out on me. So I heard that. Okay, so I heard the part about your wizard, who I'm guessing had a chaotic alignment if he was making these demands of the town, and met an unfortunate end.
I'm sure he was chaotic, knowing me back in the day. So yeah.
And then you went to a thief, and then I'm sorry, and then I cut out at the point.
Yeah, I eventually migrated him to first edition, and switched him over to an assassin, and then I retired him because he reached the max level and he didn't want to be constantly looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life, so he retired.
Do you get out while the getting's good?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Do you have a favorite edition that you prefer to run or
BX.
play in? You
BX
like
always. It'll always be BX. I love basic and expert. I love racist class. I know that's, for some people, that's just an abomination, but I think it's great. Simplifies the game, makes them valuable. I like first edition. I just think there's a lot of crunch there. I like a rule book that's under 60 pages. That's kind of my jam. Any game that's got a rule book under 60 pages is worth me looking into. Shadow Dark does not have 60 pages. It's much more than that, obviously, but it's a simple system that's easy to learn, and a lot of that just is intuitive. You don't really need rules where it's sort of intuitive, but BX and then Gamma World second. Those are my 2 favorite games to run and play.
So now are you? I'm presuming, are you running the first edition of the Gamma World? Is that what you like? Or?
Oh, of course, yeah.
I
like the one that's missing all the deck scores. Yeah, this is the best one.
Okay.
Well,
I actually have to add the deck scores in. So
let me ask you about thinking back to when, because I started the same way with BX, and then kind of into advanced, and I didn't fully understand why there was a difference of those things. I was like, oh, well, this is basic and advanced must just be the extension of that, which it really wasn't,
Correct.
And my experience at that time was like, well, why would I want to play this lesser version when there's this advanced version? And I'm not saying that's my view now, but
Right.
what did you think about it then when you were first introduced to advanced? Was it like, oh, this is, there's so much more, or were you like, did it mirror what you believe now, or did you have a different view back then?
Well, it's funny because I moved into first edition D&D because I had played. Oh, so part of that other story was when the guy left me his all his D&D stuff when he moved away. I then took over running the game, so I went straight from being a player for maybe 2 weeks to being a GM pretty much forever after that. So I hardly ever play. I'm mostly running games, but my players, as we got a little older and got to 8th grade and then into 9th grade, they didn't like the restrictions of racist class. I prefer it, but they didn't like it. So we actually started pushing into first edition just so that they could have a dwarf cleric or a paladin or what have you. So I think that was really the reason why we pushed into first edition. We didn't feel BX was a kid's version of the game. We just felt like we wanted more options, and first edition offered that, so we did that. And then obviously once you learn the system and you play it enough, it sort of becomes the thing that you always want to play, and then it's just a blast. So
sure.
Yeah.
I admit I had the same kind of inspiration. Well, the thing that inspired me for that more was like, wait, there's more options. I'd love to look at that. So
right.
Yeah. Chris is asking, what year about was that?
Oh, so that would have been 1980, 81 to 82. In that time frame is when I first started. Yeah, because I graduated high school in 86. So
Okay.
I was in 7th grade, end of 7th grade in 81, 8th grade 82. Yeah, and then when I got to high school, I started our Dungeons and Dragons club, and we got up to about 50 kids playing, which is great.
wow.
Yeah.
And you said you lived in these were kind of small towns at the time?
Yes.
Wow.
Our high school was a regional school, so 6 towns went to it. So we got a bunch.
Wow.
Yeah, and we actually had a school librarian that was very much about games. Even though it was like the sort of the satanic panic time, we definitely had a librarian that was like, no, these kids are reading, they're comprehending, they're creative. And she was our sponsor for our club. And made sure we could use the library special. There was one room in the library that was like a special closed-in room for stuff. We were always had access to it, and we ran games in there. And we also had we met twice a week officially. Our school had this creative club time 2 days a week. So before school started, we would have like 2 45-minute slots, and we would play then. And then when we had free times, we would all try to figure out our schedules. And so I see we all had the same study hall. We'd go to the library and play for an hour and a half or whatever. But throughout high school, we had lots of players. We played lots of games, obviously. It wasn't just D&D. It was a big group playing Traveler. We had some kind of wargaming crossover group that was in our group that played. But a lot of us played D&D. That was a time when we really started playing. We played a lot of Oriental Adventures then, because that kind of came out right around there. And it was really hot. Did try Boot Hill, Star Frontiers, and that was mixed results. Top Secret was a good one. We played quite a bit of. I couldn't get anybody to play Gamma World with me, so
nobody wanted the apocalyptic thing.
No,
maybe they saw the day after too recently.
Right. No, I had some neighborhood kids that were younger than me that I played Gamma World. They liked Gamma World. We played that. But in high school, we did mostly first edition D&D, Oriental Adventures, a little Top Secret, not much because that was a smaller group. I mean, I remember running one of our long-standing sessions. I think my sophomore year, I ran 15 kids through the Lost City over the course of 2 months. 15 players. People don't realize what games were like back then. Now it's like the sweet spot is 4 players, right?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I ran 15. I had an assistant DM, and we had a caller and a mapper. It was the traditional way that Gary liked games being run. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's one thing in all my gaming. I've never had that large group experience. It's always been, like you said, 3, 4, 5 players kind of thing.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
we ran 15 through Lost City, and I think we lost 10 of them.
Wow. I think the largest I've run is for about 11.
Yeah.
I think about 11 or so people, and that was 5th edition. So you
Oh
want
my
to talk
God,
about a
that's like one
slog?
combat is 9 hours.
Yeah.
It was the whole one combat was the whole. That was the
Yeah, you just
night.
get some level drain and some death saving throws, and you reduce that party quick. So
Level drain. What's that? They got rid of that.
I
Yeah,
was notorious for adventures with lots of level drain.
fifth edition.
You need big boy pants for that.
Yeah. Let's see. There's a couple of comments in here that some folks. Let's see. Weatherman, who's one of our buddies. He said he started with BX, then upgraded to 1st edition, then started mixing the two together. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's a
you.
good idea.
I mean, a lot of, that's the kind of the thing, and I think there was a recent collab where they were talking about, um, do you run rules as written? I don't really think hardly anybody really ran rules as written back then. What weapon speed and stuff like that. A lot of
Oh
people
no,
threw that out the
that's too
window
hard.
right away.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't know what all the rules as written were.
Well, and that's the other thing. When you're 8, 10, 12 years old, you're kind of like, I don't know what that means, so I'm just gonna ignore that.
Right. Yeah, the only
Let's
thing I was
see.
a stickler about back then was encumbrance, because
Yeah.
I felt like people can't carry 14 swords and 12
What?
battle axes and stuff.
No.
No, I just can't do it. I was kind
Yeah.
of a stickler for that. But other
Material
than that,
components. What about
yeah, I
material
didn't.
components?
No, I didn't. I never really liked the zero components. I like the concept, but it makes the game hard. For example, I have let's say you have a 1st level wizard and you get find familiar. Well, now you got to go find a brass brazier and whatever else it is, and you don't have
Yeah.
the money for that, and you can't summon you have the spell that you can't use until you find the components, and I just found that to be tedious.
I,
um I did
I,
kind of make sure that if there was a verbal component or there was um a physical like movement
yeah.
component, I made sure that those came into play in obvious things. Like if you're tied up, you can't cast that spell, or if someone's already cast silence, you can't cast your spell. Like I took those into
You take
consideration.
the verbal and the
Yeah,
somatic out. Yeah.
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 But
I
like
got to.
components, that's just tedious.
I have to.
It's game hard.
I have to point out this from Chris because he said, "Nice weather we're having. Hope it doesn't rain," which is kind of an inside joke. When he said, "Well, how do you want to play it?" I said, "Well, it's up to you, man. I'll give your players a hard time however you want." So he's like, "Well, if they start asking questions, just say nice weather we're having. Hope it doesn't rain." And I'm a spellcaster in that game,
Yeah.
and it's probably going to be I'm guessing a 2-shot type deal.
Mhm.
I only have a couple days to to find what I need to. Otherwise, my character's cooked. But at any rate, um, but he does say that he likes 4 to 6 players. If it gets more than 8, it starts getting out of hand. And I
Mhm.
can see that with some systems. Where do you think that breakdown happened?
Yeah,
Second, first?
I think when you're playing 1st edition, I think when you get to 6 or more players, it's nice to have a caller.
Hmm.
And then when you get to like 8 to 10, you really need a mapper and a caller. And after 10, I always felt like I needed an assistant GM, somebody who was running the NPCs, answering questions, so I could keep focused to the caller. So like anybody who was not the caller that had a question would ask the assistant GM. That way, I could just kind of focus on what the caller's telling me what we were doing. a lot of concepts that people don't know today because it's sort of very old school concept. But when you have 15 players in a U-shaped classroom of tables, and you're trying to run Lost City, which if you know Lost City, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You got to have a caller. You got to have someone who's paying attention to mapping. Like, you're only asking mapping questions, like working together so that they can get the map drawn, and you're describing things to them. Sometimes the assistant GM would deal with the mapper as well. Yeah, it's really kind of an interesting concept. People don't understand the cool vibe that happens with the caller. They're asking the players at the table, what do you want to do? And then just translating for me so I can just kind of get it all straight.
Right.
Fun, but not something we do today because we rarely play with more than 4 to 6 players. And I agree with what was said. Having 5 to 6 players is definitely a sweet spot. It's easy, especially with more complex games. But you really haven't lived if you haven't played with like 10, 15 players, because it's a blast. It's chaos. It's fun, but you gotta have help. Otherwise,
it gets really and 5e don't even bother. Don't try it in 5th edition.
No. I learned that in 4th edition, going into 5th edition, that it just really, really can take a long time to get through encounters if you have a lot of players.
Yeah.
So
Chubby, I think it's past his bedtime. I'm surprised. He's snuck in here, and he says he's now arrived. What did he miss? Anything juicy?
He missed all the slander I had for him. So
yeah.
I just kind of trashed him the whole time here, and he's just totally missed it.
Yeah. Let's see. Weatherman, he said backpack slots. He started 1 for tiny, 2 for small, 3. So that's kind of a compromise between calculating weight and there's a lot of systems that do that, where items are given a rank. In fact, even I think CNC has that as an optional rule that you can run.
Shadow Nexus slot-based system.
Yeah. So
I think it works. I think it works great. I think if that's the way you want to run your game, then fine. I think it's totally great. When I first started using encumbrance early on, I did go by weight, but then I found I had to modify it to simplify it a little bit. It came down. I don't think I did slots. I just basically said you can hold this many things in your backpack, this much things in a sack. If it's one-handed or two-handed, this is what you can carry, and sort of broke it down. But where it really got interesting is how much gold coin weight are you, like treasure, real treasure, not just weapons and armor, but treasure. Like, how many gems can you fit in a bag? How many coins can you fit in a bag? So that's where I kind of drew the line, because some of those early adventures with those big treasure hoards,
well,
you're really taken out. What can you carry?
How much are you taking with you? And of course, back then you had to XP. You didn't get XP. You had to convert the gold to
you get the XP until you get the cash. It was
or
always
you
fun.
spend it.
Yeah,
some
it was
people
always
even
fun
did
watching guys dumping silver coins for electrum and electrum for platinum and throwing the copper away, and it was just great.
Yeah,
making them choose.
Have to give them decisions.
Sure.
I got Chubby, and Chubby's saying it's not past his bedtime, and Erudite's going, get to bed. Oh, it's funny. We're like I said, we're all in this game tomorrow, which I did promote, by the way, Chubby, just so you know. I'm predicting our demise tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that.
The people
no, not everyone doesn't everyone get a bag holding. No.
Now bags of holding were rare in my system.
Yeah. Yep. And I guess you can't throw those dead party members into the bag of holding for safekeeping.
No, that's just one less person that can carry all the treasure. So that was always fun when you had, a bunch of people playing and a couple died. It's like, well, who's taking their stuff? How do we carry that? We're already full. How do we get out with their stuff too? Yeah, always good decisions. So
what do you think about hirelings and stuff like that? Because
I like them. I think they're a fun part of the game. And again, like I said earlier, when you have a big group, and there's actually hirelings as well, then the assistant GM would run those hirelings, so I wouldn't have to deal with them, give them a flavor of their own, a personality. Yeah. But I like where you can actually generate personalities for those hirelings. There's a couple of really cool books out there that actually let you generate, what are they cowards? Are they courageous? Are they strong or weak or argumentative or whatever? And then you just make sure those guys get those traits, and then try to play that into the party dynamic a little bit. Like, you got the guy who's always talking back and doesn't agree and always wants to throw wrenches into the works. It just makes the game a little more fun. So I think hirelings are great. I think I don't like them as fodder, but that sometimes happens.
Yeah. We got a $5 super chat from Michael Gonzalez. He's another one of our regulars on Sci-Fi for Me TV.
Mhm.
He says, largest I ran with 80s, I ran 80 and 1E, was 65 to 75 people. It was from 83 to 88.
That's impressive.
Wow. Wasn't final word. The GMs acted as callers if they could not resolve.
Yeah,
I
that's a
can't even
lot.
imagine how to do that.
But I remember some of those early photos of Gary running at conventions where he had an auditorium of people playing. So I know it was done. It's not something I've never experienced that large of a group. I imagine it's got to be a blast. I know that there are some good GMs that run those kind of games at cons where you have like a room full of people. I don't know if I could do that, but I think it's very cool.
Well, I wonder if you have like a assistant GM at each table or something like that. And
Sure. I mean, I've seen some really cool things. I've seen. I was at a con. I think it was in early North Texas where there were two tables running next to each other, and they didn't know that they were running the same adventure. And then it was planned that they would come into contact with each other at some point in the adventure and have to fight each other, and it was absolutely a blast. I just saw that from a distance. I thought it was very cool. So there's so many ways to like involve multiple groups, split them up, and then have them mash up later.
Right.
Funnels can be like that too, where you can just have a constant funnel going or whatever. But 65 to 75 people, I just can't even imagine. That must have been wild.
That boggles my mind. I mean, like I said, I'd be happy to have that many people show up to my con if I can get it off the ground. And that's my plan. That's I've been reaching out to
maybe that should be the end. Maybe that should be the initial session of the con, is that everybody plays at once, and then split them up.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Crazy.
Let's see. Well, what else do you have in the works? I know you said you're working on a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else that we haven't discussed yet?
That's pretty much it. I've got, like I said, a bunch of adventures in the works. I usually try to work about 6 months to a year in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the stuff that's written for this year was written last year. I do most of my writing in the winter, because in the summer, my wife and I have a cabin in Vermont that we go up to every other weekend. No power, no electricity, no cell service or anything. So we just I sleep in the hammock, let the dogs run around the pond, and just kind of get 12 hours of sleep every day, which is really nice. And I do most of my writing in the winter to get ready for the rest of the year. So I've been crushing out a lot of stuff over the last month or so. For really some of the stuff that I'm doing is really late 2026, early 2027. But like I said, the Shadow Dark stuff's coming to an end. I do have one more that I want to do. That's a Robert E. Howard story.
Yeah.
People of the Black Circle. I'd like to do that one. I've had a lot of friends tell me that I should do Red Nails, but I don't know if that makes a great adventure. Red Nails. I think People of the Black Circle makes a great adventure. So I might do that. We'll see. Other than that, a few Shadow Dark, one Gamma World, a BX spoof. By the way, that North Texas one is going to be a BX spoof. So
okay. Yeah, Rudite earlier had said he said I should GM one of your Howard inspired Shadow Dark adventures once Chubby's done finishing us off. So I'll have to take a look and pick one of those up.
Yeah, I mean the Slumbering City and Tower of the Outer God are the two that you would recognize if you know Howard's work. Um, Tower of the Outer God is a 1 to 2 session game, and Slumbering City is probably a 3 to 4 session game. Could be 2 if you are unlucky, but probably 3 to 4 is about right for that. So I don't write generally I don't write really big stuff. The Crumbling Keep that I just wrote, not Howard inspired, but is Shadow Dark. That's a long one. That's it's 11 levels. But it's a mega dungeon for Shadow Dark. So you have ways to get more light, you have ways to get out and get back in. Because as everyone knows, if you play Shadow Dark, you run out of light and you're pretty much going to be done. And if you're 6 levels down trying to find your way back out, good luck, right? So I made sure there was extra light to be found, places that were safer, a couple side exits, etc. So try to make it more suitable for Shadow Dark. That's not Howard inspired, but that's a good one that will last you probably 10, 12 sessions.
Okay. And for those who missed it, let me go back to this. You do have this Singed coming here.
That'll be for Dragon Slayer. So, which if you know what that is, that's like a BX Labyrinth Lord.
Yeah,
a little bit of 1E thrown in for some extra options.
That's pretty much taking the best of everything and getting rid of the stuff. Yeah. Greg Gillespie, he's on my list.
Yeah, he's fun to talk to.
He is.
He actually teaches role playing mechanics and role playing and creative writing kind of stuff in college in Canada. So he's he's representing the hobby in that way, which is very cool.
Yeah, he's him and Alexander McCrease. Boy, the two of them, I can't imagine being in a conversation with the two of them at the same time. I would feel like a blithering idiot, because they're both so they're
smart
that
people.
Yeah, they're like such a level ahead.
It's like talking to Dennis Astaire too. It's like the guy is super smart. So
yeah. And then, of course, you do have here. We did break the news that this is the upcoming logo for ShireCon, which you said is going to be September 25th and 26th.
Correct.
So that's coming up, and it's got to go on my calendar. I kind of penciled, I kind of wrote it on my calendar for when I thought it might be about approximate, but I had a question mark on it. So that's good. Any other things that you can think of? You're going to be at Page, you said. That's coming up here.
Page next weekend. I'm going to be at OSRCon in May, which is in Massachusetts. I should be at North Texas in June. I just opened up because I have plenty of free time. I just opened up a bookstore with my eldest daughter, so I sell used books. 4 days a week there. So that makes it hard for me to get to a lot of cons. So I have to trim a little bit. So I'm not sure if I'll make North Texas. I hope to make North Texas, but there's a chance I might miss it. And then, of course, ShireCon. I'll be at my own con for
well,
sure.
I hope so. Let's see if there's any other thing I missed here. Chris is talking about psionics. What do you think about psionics?
Psionics. I'm one of the few people that like psionics.
Yeah, his Dark Sun game has psionics in it. So
have to. It's Dark Sun. Yeah.
I mean, I got his sheet here. It's where is it? Oh, it's over here. He went all out. This is the character sheet that he gave me.
Wow.
I mean,
very cool.
He's top class on that. I was like, wow. Man, if I printed out a character sheet for you, it'd be in black and white, on plain paper. But
I remember at one con, I said that we'd create characters at the table, and I actually gave out people like 3-hole punch lined paper and said, "Here's your character sheet."
Yeah.
They're like, "What do you mean? Where do I fill stuff in?" I'm like, "You just write on it. It's just like the way we played in 1980."
Yeah. What do you think of? What's your feeling on backstories? That seems to be the in thing now with the especially with the 5e 5, whatever whatever the next thing is, they're all pushing these backstories that are 12 pages long.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on backstories. I don't mind if people have a story about their character after they've created it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of creating your backstory before your character's created because that might not fit. But if you have an idea for something and it's kind of fun and adds a little bit of flavor, I'm totally fine with it. Will I use your backstory in the campaign setting and add some of that in there for motivation, or kind of make you tie your character to the world? Not always. I will sometimes, but I usually run pretty deadly games, no matter what the system is. So I usually tell people, don't get attached to your character because you might need a new one. So if you're going to put 12 pages into a backstory, you might be rewriting it the next day for the second character. I mean,
Yeah.
I played in a Middle Earth game. Middle Earth role playing is another one of my favorite systems. I played in a Middle Earth game several years ago where I had to create 3 characters in one night because they kept dying. So it's just the way some of those older games are deadly. If you know Middle Earth role playing based on Rollmaster, the critical hit tables are deadly, right? So if you roll that sweet number, you're just beheaded or killed instantly, and there's no turning back. So I happen to lose a mage, a barbarian, and an animist, which is their priest, all in the same night, and I had to roll up a 4th character while everyone else is playing. So I don't tell people, if you want a backstory, cool, just don't get attached to your character because they can die.
And that makes me think about one other thing, rolling up characters. Obviously the way you were introduced was 3d6 straight down the line.
You bet.
Do you still stick to 3d6 straight down the line, or do you give any flexibility? Have a house rule?
So if I'm starting a brand new group in BX, which has happened several times, I ran most recently I ran a library group where everyone wanted to play old school games. They've been playing 5e and they wanted something different. I said, well, let's do BX. And I said, here's how it's going to go. We ran 3d6 down the line, and people were just shocked, even horrified, that they had with like negative bonuses for some of their stats. It's like, this is how the game was, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not a complete jerk. If you roll, if your highest stat is a 9 and everything else is a 5 and a 6, I'm going to let you re-roll your character.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like, what's the point of having somebody that bad? A couple bad stats, okay. But and more often than not, the second character ends up having some good stats, and you're good to go. So
yeah, the one off bad stat is, makes for an interesting character.
Sure. Yeah.
And
you can use that in certain ways. So
yeah, and I have to give kudos to there was a player that I had. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he rolled up character, and our house rule always was 46, drop the lowest, automatic rerolls on ones. I'm sure you've heard that one before.
Yep, sure.
Free range at whatever, and he opted to not reroll the ones, and so seeing that potential, I wound up giving him a boon for that. He became kind of the intelligence equivalent of the drunken master. So the drunker he got, the more his intelligence went up. It was kind of the opposite, you know what I mean? It was kind of
right.
Now his dexterity went through, through the toilet, but
sure.
But that was one of the best most memorable characters that we had in a lot of the games that we played. In the past 25 years or so.
If you have really good players or players that are that don't take things too seriously, you can have a lot of fun with characters with bad stats.
Yeah.
One of the best groups I ever had was a Morkborg group, and that game is all about bad, right? It's all about just things being horrendous, because that's sort of the whole game concept, is that the world's ending and you're all going to die anyway, so who cares? And I had people really leaning into those bad characters and bad stats, and it was a fantastic time, right?
Yeah.
I've played games with people that just can't take it, can't take a character with bad stats. They just can't invest in it, and then they end up quitting the group or intentionally getting their character killed so they can re-roll a new one. I mean, you're gonna get that. So
yeah. It just we're all there to have fun, and like you said, when it comes to having issues at the cons or whatnot, we played back in the '80s. We played with all kinds of people, so we didn't care what each other's politics were. I don't think most of us didn't even know what each other's politics were,
right,
or who they wanted to sleep with or whatever. That was none of our business. We were there to throw dice, have
right,
fun, just play games, and I think that's we kind of need to get back to that, and
agreed.
having fun. So
Well, I mean, gaming is about escapism, right?
yeah,
So why do I want to try to do anything but escape from whatever's happening around me? So it's like reading a novel.
yeah.
I mean, you're trying to get away from reality and trying to escape a little bit. And that's what we're doing it for. And if you can't separate the two, then
And that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the direction that WotC took stuff. It's like I don't want to play myself.
no,
I'm an overweight, white guy. I don't want to be, I want to play that
yeah,
that dwarf or that that elf or
right,
whatever whatever the case may be.
right.
Something that's totally different from what I like now.
Yeah, and you have to be
Oh
careful when certain things force certain outcomes. And
yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm just like, let people at the table just play, have fun. Um, obviously when you're playing with a younger crowd, I ran a game for a bunch of kids that were between 7 and 9 at another library event, and they wanted their character to be not human but a dragon or spider. And they're little kids, so you try to let them try to work that out. But then when they start doing things like, well, because I'm part dragon, I can breathe fire. It's like, well, no, you're first level. You're not. So,
Yeah.
so you gotta you gotta let them be creative, but you can't force certain things. Um,
Yeah, I think I've kind of moved to the let's narrow things down a little bit. Let's go to the what I consider to be the core races.
yeah,
You obviously humans and dwarves and elves and halflings and so on and so forth, gnomes. What
fall
you
back to
know
BX.
once you get beyond a half orc, I got no flying, no furry, no
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean,
Nothing
I think
nothing else.
I think there's a game out there for everyone, and if that's what you want to do, then have fun. And if you're having fun, then
Yeah,
it's great, right?
yeah,
But when I'm running a game at my table, you're already coming in with the expectations that this is the kind of the boundaries of what we're going to play.
yeah,
And I'm flexible and I can allow certain things because I want everyone to have maximum enjoyment. But if it starts to get out of hand because of all these crazy things that they want done, I have to sort of pull them aside and go, we're gonna draw some lines here. And if this is too much for you, then I'm sorry, but this is what we have to make sure everybody is sort of taken care of. So
Tieflings, Dragonborn, Warforged, and Kobold, right?
nailed it,
Tubby. Yeah,
nailed
yeah,
it.
Tubby. That's it. Every game. That's all we're gonna allow.
Is that the name of the game, by the way?
That sounds like it. Thrycreen.
Oh yeah, Threatening are
Thrycreen with
great.
big bug butts. Um, no, but Cam, what else you got? You gotta. I know you got to get out of here very soon.
Yeah,
What do
well,
you?
I would just like to say thanks to our guest for all the telling us all about what you're doing. And as I said, I especially like hearing the origin stories for people and what they, what really excites them about gaming.
Hmm.
Um, so, and we didn't mention while I was looking through your list of stuff, you have a ton of great stuff on DriveThruRPG, affordable prices. So I really encourage everyone to check that out if they
Yeah.
haven't already. So
I mean, some of these are $2 for some of your zines.
Yep.
$4, $3.50. $10.
Most of my brochure adventures are $1. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's also very cool that that there are these very affordable options and see, I really, really do like all that stuff because again, going back to the BX days and everything, where I can't imagine how I would have ate this stuff up, when I was just starting out with the game, and being able to take these bits and put them in where you want and customize how you like. I mean, of course, doing it yourself is fun too, but
Yep.
those days we didn't have anything really to of this nature. At least not that I had access to. I'm sure in other larger groups and things, people did do a lot of this, but yeah, I really like that kind of stuff.
I mean, I never thought that I would be doing this when I was, like 12 years old running games. I never thought I'd be writing games and actually publishing them, because that wasn't really a thought back then. You ran everything that TSR wrote.
Yeah,
that's what you did, right?
Yeah, yeah. And is there a preferred setting that you like to play in, or do you like to make your own?
Oh,
Or run in, I suppose.
I like a very fantastical fantasy setting. So I really like, where there's a lot of magic and there's a lot of unique creatures and there's a lot of just a lot of chaos going on. I like the traditional good versus evil kind of approach to most of my games. So
Yeah.
I was usually pushing, good trying to triumph over evil.
Alignment?
Because I like Gamma World, I also like world ending world ending kind of scenarios, campaigns. Like, one of the things that drew me to Morkborg was that exactly, it's like the world can die at any day, so just live it the best you can. So I kind of like that kind of approach. I do I try to mix genres as much as I can, so I'll try to play some Top Secret, Gamma World, and others. I've tried and played many different games, but I always fall back to that that very magical, very fantastical fantasy. I don't like low magic fantasy much. I like, even though I like Middle Earth, I like there to be some good magic in there, some good essence magic and channeling magic. So I tended, D&D is just a sweet spot, right? It's got everything you want. So that's why I kind of go back to BX. So
yeah, Mistari, yeah. Yeah, autocorrect got him, put mustard.
yeah, it's about Mystara, right?
Yeah, Mystara. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's was it Mr. Welch, I think, is always out there. He's always putting videos about Mystara. He thinks it's the best setting ever. And
it is a good setting. It really
Yeah.
is a good setting, especially if you play BX, because it's right there. It's right in that kind of sweet spot. I played Greyhawk when it was a thing, and obviously I was in the Forgotten Realms for a while too. But
Sure.
I'm kind of a world builder too, so I like my own worlds. But I usually almost always make it so that world could end at any time, because I always like that threat.
Yeah.
So a lot of my players are like, "Oh, come on, can we get a world that doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah.
depends on your actions.
Hey, so if somebody wanted a print version, because just the PDF is available from DriveThru, how would they go about getting that?
So I've been doing a lot of my printing now on Lulu. So if you go to the Lulu site, lulu.com, you'll start to see more and more of my print work there, and that's because I use them to fulfill my Kickstarter. So
Okay.
so once I get that Kickstarter fulfilled on Lulu, then I just open it up for the world to go buy it there. So and so the reason why I don't do as much print on DriveThru now is I absolutely despise perfect bound. Obviously, if it's a certain number of pages and it's hardcover, sure, you gotta have perfect binding. But when I have like a little, 24 or 24 or 48 page book, I can't stand it being perfect bound. I want it saddle stitched. Lulu or DriveThru does not offer saddle stitch anymore for those small books. So
Right.
I do all my printing of small books on Lulu now because they'll give me saddle stitched.
So do you sell them direct? You order them, or do you?
Yeah. So if you just search in the bookstore under Lulu for my name, you're gonna find my books.
Okay.
So if you go where it says bookstore there,
Oh, okay.
and you just say, Thom Wilson, it should come back with me. Some of my stuff.
Oh, look, there they
So
are.
you're gonna see some of my. So right there's my 13th issue, the Back to Basics. Then there's the Howard story there, Tower of the Elephant, obviously. That's a Gamma World adventure underneath that I wrote for North Texas, which is a really fun one that I really enjoyed. War in the Valley is a throwback homage to Keep on the Borderlands, but the caves. Prison Pit was the first thing I wrote for Shadow Dark.
Okay.
And everyone always says that's misspelled, but it's not. Age Last is really a word. So it's not ageless, it's age last. There's a difference. It Fell from the Sky is Morkborg with a sci-fi crossover. So that's a little bit fun. Yep. You Should Never Have Come Here was a death dungeon, low-level death dungeon like Tomb of Horrors. And then the list goes on. I'm kind of just getting as some of my print stuff down there. I'm not sure what that bottom one is there. I don't even recall what that is.
I don't think it's you.
Oh, it's not me. Okay, it's Thomas Wilson Bards. Okay. And then Dwarven King's Dilemma is a 10th level Shadow Dark. So it's the highest level you can go in Shadow Dark. So I did that as a sort of a fun little side project. So, but yeah, so you're gonna see more and more of my print work on Lulu because they do saddle stitched.
Yeah. I wonder if they have a way for you to be able to order through like your own store. And
yeah, it's on my list to do to update my website and then push the APIs there so that you can order straight from Lulu from my website.
They do have that for you.
They do. Oh, they have numerous methods there, which is great. I just don't have the time right now to do that, but I will do that when I'm close to retirement. A couple of years, I'm going to be out of my full-time job, which is great, and then do more stuff that I want to do. So,
well, there you go. Yeah, I got a few years to go yet still. I do want to say I know that Cam has to go because he is on a show on Sci-Fi Snobs channel called the Top Lofty Lounge, and they're going to be talking about underrated sci-fi. Is that the theme, Cam?
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
underrated
indeed.
sci-fi.
Yeah. Okay. So that's at Sci-Fi Snobs channel, which is also where we have the Babylon 5 retrospective every Wednesday at 11, and then on the 28th we're actually going to have a special primetime show. That's going to be pretty awesome. We're going to have Londo Mallory, Ambassador Londo Mallory himself will be a guest, and we're going to be multi-streaming that on multiple channels. So everybody go check out Cam. Drop a link to. Well, I guess I could drop a link for that show here for snobs. Here, there we go. Anybody that wants to go check it out, be sure to like, subscribe, and I appreciate Thom. Let me bring you guys back up. I appreciate you taking your time, and we'll be in touch, I'm sure. Look forward to seeing what more you got. If you ever got anything new coming out or something you got another when you launch that Kickstarter, let me know, and we'll get you on, and we'll help promote it for you and see what we can do.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
All right.
It's been a great time. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, appreciate it a lot. I'm going to go ahead and roll the outro. And if you want to stick around just for a minute, we'll have a quick after chat, and then everybody will go. So
thanks.
Thanks everybody. Take care.
Good night.